guys, अस्सलाम वालेकुम. Welcome back to another episode of Happy Chirp. आज मेरे साथ बुशरा लतीफ़ हैं. She has her own e-commerce platform by the name of Nani.pk. And it's not just your conventional e-commerce business with a certain product, but they're doing a lot of stuff. थोड़ा सा holistic सा है जिसमें with an entire vision behind helping supporting parents and helping them not just get access to the right products that they could use for their children, but also give them a more help them or guide them as parents. तो हम discuss करते हैं कि how that came about and what exactly is Nani.pk. So Bushra, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming all the way and making out the time for this.
Thank
so,
you.
Bushra, आप start से बताएं. Let's go down to like your life journey. Where were you born and raised? आप कहाँ से हैं?
So I'm basically from Dera Ismail Khan. It's a small district in KPK. And I have this feudal political background, like a proper Pathan family where we, kind of cover our face and everything. So I was born and raised there. And then Lahore has always been a second home since all of my, males in my families, all of them are Echisonians. So we have always, been coming to Lahore. We have been studying here. So it's like a second home.
अच्छा, very interesting. तो basically आप लोगों के जो लड़के होते थे उनको एजुकेशन के लिए लाहौर भेजे थे.
Yes, it's like from great grandfather's time. All of them have been, Echisonians throughout borders.
So it's like a legacy. But
yes.
So why Etchison? Like, how did that happen and why?
I don't know. I think it's now in their blood, so we just know it. So if a boy is born, वो पैदा होता है, all of us know he has to be in Etchison. And because it was a small city, obviously, and for good education, they had to kind of, send them.
So what about the girls? लड़कियों को वहीं पर educate करते हैं या वहाँ पर like इतना it's sort of वो नहीं है focus on that.
इतना focus नहीं है. So like before our generation तो वहीं पे था, but like I have been studying in Lahore. I have done my masters Kinnaird से, and अब थोड़ा obviously with time it changes and everything.
So why do you think it changed, or who brought the change? Because ये बहुत ही आपकी obviously deep rooted cultural चीज़ें होती हैं जिसमें बहुत सारे factors होते हैं कि वहाँ पर it's not like moral issues होते हैं उनके lens में या फिर कोई मतलब उनको या होता है. कुछ लोगों के तो चलें होते हैं ना कि पावर्टी इश्यूज होता है. वो कहते हैं अगर थोड़े से पैसे हैं तो हम अपने लड़कों को ही पढ़ाएं. उनकी ये थिंकिंग होती है. बट काफ़ी लोगों की होता है कि इट्स मोर ऑफ अ माइंड सेट वेयर देयर लाइक we don't need to educate the girls so much. So why do you think that was in your
I was the first
experience?
one coming out of the family to kind of like study, because I've always been a very good student. And I think maybe they just realized that she deserves.
Acha.
And I was very headstrong. So I just told them I have to do my master's from there. Because I wasn't allowed to go to the university in Dera Ismail Khan because, like it's a very small district and everybody knows you over there. So that's why I think I was the first, and then my younger sister, my older sister got married really early on.
But how did you sort of like wo ek like what was the discussion around that? What was the thought around that? Was it something that your parents pushed or did you have to convince them?
I had to do a lot of conditioning.
Acha.
I think that's what it takes when you are the person who takes the first step.
Right.
So I think that was it. I think it just then paid off. So like after me it got very normal.
Yeah, of course. कुछ लोग होते हैं जो who pave the way for others, so you sort of did that. But for you देखें अगर आप एक चीज़ नॉर्मल ही चल रही है, and you said that you have an elder sister as well who got married early और उनका ये नहीं हुआ, तो why is it that you did this? या आपके अंदर क्या था? क्योंकि जब आप देख रहे हो तो कि ये नॉर्मल है तो you tend to do what's normal, right? What made you an outlier in this situation कि आपने कहा कि नहीं मैंने आगे कहीं और से करना?
So it's like कोई ऐसा टाइम आता है when there's a realization, I don't know, from God, from universe, And there was a certain point in my life where I realized that because I was always the odd one out in family, and I just knew I was that square peg in the round hole, and I just could not kind of like fit in. And I realized उस time पे कि when you try to fit in and not accept yourself who you are, तो आप ना खुद खुश रहते हो और ना आप उसमें कुछ कर सकते हो. Like you cannot be successful in that kind of life. So I just started accepting myself. Like, okay, I always wanted to do something. I wanted to build something that was or live a life that was worth living. And I think उसके बाद से I just realized this कि मैंने करना है. So I was just able to do it. I don't know from like
बस हो गया type फिर.
And I believe in manifestation a lot. So I'm this secret kind of a person with this reading the secret and everything. So yes.
Yeah. So you manifested it for yourself.
I manifested it for myself.
That's amazing. So किस एज तक आपने DI खान में ही अपना टाइम गुजारा? लाइक किस एज तक आपने वहीं पे एजुकेशन हासिल की?
So I did my bachelor's वहाँ से, I did my OA levels and then I did my bachelor's वहाँ से. और एक ही स्कूल ऑफर कर रहा था वहाँ पे कैम्ब्रिज. And then for masters I moved to Lahore.
अच्छा. So वैसे growing up, what was life like in Dera Ismail Khan? कैसा है? What was yours?
It was very plain. We didn't go out much, but we would always visit Lahore, like for medical, for for everything. We used to be in Lahore. But otherwise, it was very plain over there.
Very simple and
very simpler. बहुत बाहर नहीं जाना ज़्यादा. We lived there in Kent, so उस area में ज़्यादातर. So it was like that.
Interesting.
But I was a very good reader, so I always I used to read. I was always surfing, so I knew what was happening around. So I was that person.
Like exposure रहा आपका, even though you were living in Dera Ismail Khan. अच्छा. So then आपने bachelor's किस चीज़ में किया?
So it was political science and English literature. And it's very interesting because I have a very different background for what I'm doing right now. और masters भी मैंने English literature में ही किया था.
So ये political science और literature आपने कहाँ से किया?
डेरा इस्माइल खान से.
वहाँ पर
GC College.
अच्छा, GC College. And उस वक्त आपने ये क्यों सोच के ये फील्ड चूज की थी?
So I wanted to do CSS. I wanted to opt for CSS.
अच्छा.
Yeah.
हाँ, तो इसलिए आपने ये.
इसलिए मैंने I chose political science. And then.
और ये CSS का ख्वाब कैसे आया था?
That's because I always wanted to do something big and out of the box.
ठीक है.
So I think वो मुझे बड़ा एक safe option लगता था, considering the kind of family I had. कि अच्छा शायद अगर ये कर लूँगी तो कुछ नहीं कहेंगे. तो एक किस्म का वो, because I always wanted a very powerful profession and because initially I wanted to do law. तो वो तो मुझे पता था वो नहीं करने देंगे. So then I thought कि maybe मैं अगर CSS के लिए opt कर लूँ, so that's a better choice. Later on I realized कि मुझे business पढ़ना है, like after bachelor's. So my mother did not let me do my MBA. She was like, because उन्हें शुरू से शौक था कि मेरा कोई बच्चा literature करे.
अच्छा.
And then MBA was like 3.5 years. और obviously English literature का masters अब तो Kinnaird offer नहीं करता, उस वक्त offer करता था. 2 years का masters होता था. So मैंने फिर I just went for English literature. Yeah.
और Kinnaird का experience कैसा था?
Oh, Kinnaird was lovely. I think it was the best time of my life I spent over there.
Why do you say that?
I made a lot of friends. I got a lot of, like, I'm that kind of a person जो किसी अगर मैं किसी institute में जाऊँ या मैं किसी नई जगह पे जाऊँ, I absorb a lot of things. So I learn a lot. I'm that kind of a person. I want to make the most out of it. So yeah.
Okay, that's really nice. And did you feel a lot of Zahir, growing up and then studying in Dera Ismail Khan and then moving to Lahore for your masters, आपको क्या बहुत ज़्यादा difference feel हुआ in the life between the two places?
There was a lot of difference actually. Because एक तो वो पंजाबियों में और पठानों में बहुत ज़्यादा
कल्चरल डिफरेंस ही इतना है.
कल्चरल डिफरेंस ही इतना ज़्यादा है. So you know, now all of my friends are, you know, they are Punjabi.
Yeah.
And because obviously शुरू में तो I could not like kind of relate उस तरह से. और I was a very different person, I think, and I changed a lot with time.
And do you think that you were able to, like, how would you say how do you respond to change? Like, how are you responsive towards change? Do you think that you embrace change? You love change? Do you resist change? How does change affect you as a person? तो जब ये वाला change हुआ, how did it affect you?
So I think I take the good things, but like my core values are very strong. But otherwise I do embrace change as long as it's, you know, उसमें growth हो रही होती है तो I love it. I love it.
That's amazing. That's excellent. To be able to embrace change, accept change and see the growth in it. कि अच्छा ये change तो हो रहा है मेरी life में लेकिन ये अच्छा है.
So I'm that kind of a person who works well under pressure.
अच्छा.
Yeah, I'm that kind of a person. So I think because वो जो change की एक journey होती है, it's you are in hot water and then you know it's like उसमें growth बहुत होती है.
हाँ. Accelerate हो जाती है आपकी growth.
Accelerate हो जाती है exactly. So उसमें I am that person. So I'll put myself, you know, in that uncomfortable situation, and then for growth, yes, I would do that.
Yeah. We कहते हैं ना कि no good change or nothing big happens if you stay in your comfort zone. You have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I have always been very uncomfortable in my life. So yeah.
So did you think कि जब when you moved and you came to Lahore and ज़ाहिर differences बहुत था. You said previously that you felt like you were a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did that apply when you came to Lahore? Because see, like growing up it was very different. So did you find it hard to fit in or gel in or understand the new culture of a new place?
So I was always a rebel. But again, obviously आप जहाँ पे grow करते हो उस चीज़ का बहुत strong influence होता है आपके ऊपर. So I would say that I was a people pleaser उस time. So I would always consider whatever I did, I would always like वो subconscious mind में आपके चल रहा होता है कि आप कुछ भी कर रहे हो ना तो I don't know कुछ गलत तो नहीं हो जाएगा. Family, you know, like वो जो influence आपके ऊपर होता है and everything. So I was that person. उस time मतलब I was a rebel and then I was also that person who would yes, you know, who would consider के you know like मतलब वहाँ पे growth मेरी कुछ stop होती थी. But it's only later on in life that I realized कि आप जैसी आदत डालते हो वैसी सबको पड़ जाती है. So I'm quite lucky कि I realized that at a very young age, and that's why I was, I think, able to you know, execute all of this that I'm doing.
So Kinnaird में then you were living by yourself on your own in a hostel?
No, I was living with my mother and sister.
Achha, so they moved with you? Yeah.
They moved with me because my dad passed away.
Achha.
So it was like way before, like 10 years before.
10 years from today?
10 years from today, yes. And then my brother, he was there in Itsen hostel mein. Later on he went to England, so it was just me, my mother and my younger sister. Okay. So we shifted to Lahore.
So was that difficult considering your father, he passed away? Yes, and then it was just your mom and like you guys, so how did you make the move?
I think it was very difficult because there was a lot of trauma attached to it, and you know, whole of the family was very, very disturbed. So I think maybe moving to Lahore helped. It did help us. And then my mother was taking care of, the property and everything at that time because my brother was young. So we, it's a 6 hours journey from Lahore to Dera Ismail Khan. So every weekend we would go back and then come back on Sunday. So it was difficult, and I think it helped as well. So, there was a change of place. That helps you.
Yeah. I understand. So, like, I feel like, and do you think your mother, obviously then she had to play a very key role in this. How, जिस तरह, because बहुत सारे घरों में और families में और इस तरह होता है कि जब the man of the house passes on, तो वो a lot of women are not aware. Like you said, she had to manage and handle the property and all of these things. Now moving her kids to a new city and then manage the war and play the role of a father as well. How prepared she was for that? And by prepared, I don't mean that she expected something like this to happen, but generally, what kind of a woman was she? Was she completely clueless and didn't know how to do, and then she figured her way up? Yes, she was very well sort of. कुछ औरतें होती हैं कि वो उनको पहले से ही बहुत कुछ आता होता है. They know about finances.
She has property. Always been a housewife, and my maternal family, they're not very open to all of this. They're a little, वो थोड़े से ज़रा laid back and इस तरह हैं. But obviously she wasn't prepared, and lekin my dad, because the time we spent with him, and he was in army before joining politics, so he made us very confident and independent. So it's like me, my older sister, and obviously my brother. My younger sister was really small at that time. So I think I had to take the charge when we moved. And because obviously she was in trauma, and she wasn't able to handle all of this. And because she had to move to another city because of me, so the responsibility
was a lot on you.
It was a lot on me. So उसमें फिर ये हुआ कि obviously I became very independent. Like I was running the house वहाँ पे, and managing the servants and everyone. So plus making sure everything goes well, and कि मेरे पे नाम ना आए कि they moved because of me. So I think she wasn't very strong उस वक्त, but that was to our advantage कि अब हम सारे बहन भाई were very strong. Like we know कि हमने अपने लिए सब कुछ खुद करना है. So it's only after my father's death that all of us, we became very, very independent. Even like my younger sister, like she knows what she wants in life, she'll do it.
Sahi, right. So you made help your family move and everything, and then settle. Sahi. So फिर उसके बाद आपने Kinnaird से जब ये किया and you graduated, so then आपके जहन में क्या था कि okay, what is the next step in life? Because अब तो it must have been very clear, and you always wanted to, and then obviously आपकी family move हो गई थी, your father's passing and everything, and sense of independence बहुत strong हो गई थी, which then obviously leads to the fact कि अच्छा मैंने अब कुछ करना है अपनी ज़िंदगी के साथ. So उस वक्त what was in your head?
So I think
CSS का exam दिया?
No.
अच्छा.
So it was like my mother is that person कि वो शादी
she must have been like बस बहुत पढ़ लिया अब शादी.
That's why she made me do masters, because it was only 2 years. She was like इसके बाद तुम्हारी शादी. But then as I told you, it took a lot of conditioning, और वो अल्लाह की तरफ से भी कुछ होता है कि then I started my clothing.
एक second, तो आपको नहीं interest था शादी में at this point?
No.
Why?
That's because I wanted to make something of myself.
Why?
That's because that's the person I am.
Because शादी के बाद भी तो हो सकता है. Why did you think कि नहीं अभी मैंने शादी नहीं की? शादी के बाद भी तो हो सकता है.
Responsibility हो जाती है.
अच्छा.
And then
like you were just like कि पहले मैं अपना ये तो figure out कर लूँ, because marriage itself is a huge responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility, right. And I realized, like I told you, कि वो एक realization आपको अल्लाह की तरफ से आती है कि I realized this was the thing that made me very happy. It was like my utmost happiness for me. I want to make something out of it. So इसलिए then I was always thinking about a business idea, like always.
Yeah. Entrepreneurial mindset ही था कि बस हर वक्त कुछ
Yeah.
something or the other. वो होता है ना कि entrepreneurial mindset वाले जो लोग होते हैं उनको हर वक्त idea आ रहा होता है, ये कर लेती हूँ. It's like part of dreaming and part of having a very creative imagination.
Yeah.
So you started your clothing line?
I did, but I had to close it down for, there was a problem in family and I had to close it down. And I was really sad because I worked really hard for it. But it's later on.
Was it well established? Was it well established, or starting phase mein hi you had to phase it out?
So I was quite prepared for like a big launch, but I had to close this down.
Okay.
For there was a problem in the family, and then अब तक मुझे realizations नहीं हुई थी. वो वाली
जो अभी आनी है.
So a lot of years went to waste उस सारे time में because I had like issues with my, obviously me and my mother are very different person.
Yeah.
We are very different people.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, उसमें थोड़ा सा काफ़ी सारा time, waste हुआ मेरा. And then I just started thinking कि मैं पाकिस्तान में नहीं कर सकती काम, because I realized कि मुझे एक तो मुझे tech industry में आना है. And
how did you have this realization?
Because considering कि हर चीज़, the crypto coming in and everything.
You saw what was going on and you felt कि
and I thought कि tech industry में growth बहुत जल्दी है और बहुत ज़्यादा है.
You're a very smart girl.
Yeah. It's like less investment, and if you hit the proper market fit for it, your MVP, then I think you just kind of you're up the ladder like this in no time.
Sorry, I interrupted you. उस वक्त you said कि एक तो tech में करना है, you realized.
Yes, I realized, and then I knew I could not work in Pakistan. It was like I knew I wouldn't, because of my family, and no girl in my family was working, and then office environment में तो nobody was working.
So basically you realized कि अगर आपको अपनी growth चाहिए तो आपको इन चीज़ों से हटना होगा, because यहाँ पे those things will come in the way of your dreams and growth.
Yeah.
जितना भी.
So मेरी family में वो office environment had a very bad connotation to it. So I was like, Pakistan में तो मेरी life है ही नहीं. So it's like all of my best friends, they're all abroad.
Acha.
Yeah. So they always used to tell me, okay, you know what? You can live here alone, all by yourself, work on whatever you want. So I had plans on, it was before COVID, like a year before COVID or something, yes. So I started studying about tech industry, how it works, and I was not a tech savvy person. That's the funniest part. So it's only that I learned my way through it. But I was always an executioner. I would always, if there was something, I would execute it.
Action oriented personality. के हाँ सोचा है तो फिर करना है.
So I just started studying about it, how apps work, and everything. And I was so not into it, and I was never a tech savvy person all my life. But it's like वो slowly वो चीज़ आती गई. And then I applied for my student visa for Ireland. It's like right before COVID.
So ये आपने खुद ही समझा कि मुझे करना है.
It was after all the realizations that I had. I realized it's all in my. अभी भी I think with थोड़े और टाइम के बाद मुझे ये चीज़ रियलाइज़ हुई कि it's all in my head. और मतलब वो जो मैं बात कर रही हूँ ना कि आप जैसी आदत डालते हैं, जैसी कंडीशनिंग करती हैं, वैसे people accept you.
Yeah.
They accept you. So I applied for Ireland. I was going there on a student visa. Later on, I had a plan कि मैंने एक तो entrepreneurship वहाँ पे study करनी थी, major लेना था. And then I had a plan कि I'll execute this. I'll have a tech business over there. It was पहले initially I wanted to do ये home chef वाला before Food Panda opened it.
अच्छा.
So I wanted to do it over there. So मेरी एक best friend का भाई भी Ireland में था, and then because डबलिन वाज काइंड ऑफ वो पूरी टेक इंडस्ट्री का हब था यूरोप का. दे हैड फेसबुक का वहाँ पे हेड ऑफिस, यू नो, ऑल ऑफ दीज गूगल एंड एवरीथिंग.
So these were your reasons to apply to Ireland.
Ireland, yes.
ठीक है.
And it was easier than UK.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it was an English speaking country, so yes. Then this COVID thing happened. And I could not go. और खैर initially तो when this COVID thing happened, तो उस वक्त तो fear इतना ज़्यादा था कि पता नहीं है क्या चीज़, because उसके ऊपर तो कुछ आया ही नहीं था. So US was closing down और हमने कहा पता नहीं दुनिया ही ना ख़त्म हो जाए COVID में. So obviously my family was like हम तो इधर मर जाएंगे अगर तुम्हारी फ्लाइट्स बंद हो गई वहाँ पे, तो तुम तो नहीं जा रही. So obviously and वहाँ पे कंडीशन भी बहुत बुरी थी. You know, my friend's brother was over there, so he told me groceries भी नहीं मिल रही थी, कुछ नहीं मिल रहा था. So I was like okay, किस्मत की बात है, fine. उसके बाद again I applied. वो जो कोविड का एक वो फेज गुजरा और फिर द सेकेंड वेव हिट एंड एवरीथिंग क्लोज डाउन अगेन. आई थिंक बस वो किस्मत में नहीं था वहाँ पे जाना. एंड देन आई एम अ वेरी इम्पेशेंट पर्सन, सो आई वाज लाइक ये तो मेरी पूरी लाइफ इसी तरह से वेस्ट हो जाएगी इंतज़ार करते करते कि कोविड कब ख़त्म होगा. एंड लेट्स जस्ट स्टार्ट नाउ, दैट्स इट, लेट्स जस्ट स्टार्ट इन पाकिस्तान.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, because I was reading a lot about it and, you know, I was searching a lot about it, I realized कि ये जो kids niche है, it's not a price sensitive market. So parents would compromise on themselves, but they would never compromise on the quality of their kids. अब बच्चा रो रहा है उसको तो चीज़ मिलनी ही मिलनी है. Like
and they will go above and beyond.
है,
yeah,
कुछ भी
है.
है,
yeah.
बच्चे की चीज़ तो आनी ही आनी है. You can't compromise. So I think I thought, okay, this was a catch. And then because my older sister, she has like 3 kids, and then कुछ मेरी friends हैं उनके से 3 बच्चे हैं who, you know, married early on. So I used to see them and I was like, man, what kind of a life you have. So it was so overwhelming. Like they were so consumed बच्चों में कि they had forgotten what they wanted to do in their
who
life,
they are.
So it was always kids. And you know, it was like a full on duty and their hands were so full. So I realized कि एक तो ऐसा कुछ होना चाहिए that helps mothers कि उनको अपने लिए भी थोड़ा सा टाइम उनके पास निकल आए. So just to make the job easier for them.
टाइम भी निकल आए and sort of like जो वो पेरेंटिंग कर रहे हैं वो भी आसान हो जाए ना उनके लिए.
आसान हो जाए, exactly. So and then I realized, because I was from Dera Ismail Khan, and then, you know, my bhabi, my sister, so वहाँ पे obviously कुछ नहीं मिलता था, छोटा शहर था, so सिर्फ formula milks भी source करने होते थे, तो they had to send somebody to Lahore to get them in bulk. And then कोई you know, कुछ भी ख़त्म, cereals ख़त्म हो गए, वो Cerelacs ख़त्म हो गए, कुछ ख़त्म हो गया. And then obviously कपड़े तो वैसे ही brands वहाँ पे इतने नहीं थे. So I realized, okay, you know what? It's like सिर्फ बड़े शहरों की तो population नहीं है. And
what about the people in like small towns?
Smaller towns, yes. And then I came up with the idea of Nani, which was initially Kiddo. We later on named it as Nani. And when I jumped into this business, I realized, okay, it was such an untapped market. There was, you know, that's who entrepreneurs are, right? They you know, identify the gap in the market.
And they identify a problem that they want to solve.
So when I, you know, started working, I came to Lahore. I started working in Collabs, which was a co-working space. So there was a lot of networking, and, you know, I was learning a lot and everything, making a lot of connections in the industry. And then I realized कि ऐसे बहुत, एक तो बड़े शहरों में भी बच्चों की ग्रोसरी हर जगह अवेलेबल नहीं होती. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू सोर्स, और हर कोई अपनी अपनी प्राइस से बेच रहा होता है, और लोग लेते हैं. देयर लाइक उनको चाहिए वो लेंगे नो मैटर व्हाट. तो एक तो वो चीज़ कि हम इसको ऑनलाइन कर दें, एक तो एक्सेसिबल हो जाएगा, एंड देन यू नो वो प्राइस का भी एक उनके साथ ईजी रह जाएगा पेरेंट्स को to source it and everything. And then I realized कि there were a lot of ये Chinese market बहुत ज़्यादा है पाकिस्तान में.
ठीक है.
Especially बच्चों की. So it's like China से वो containers लाएंगे इधर थोड़े से महंगे करके बेच देंगे. I did not like that fact.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like there were a lot of brands who were Pakistani manufactured and export quality, excellent quality brands. या तो उनके पास टाइम नहीं था पाकिस्तान में अपने आप को मार्केट करने का या तो रिसोर्सेज नहीं थे. So what they were doing, they were producing it here and obviously, exporting it outside. So ये तो मैंने कहा, oh my God, this is a gold mine.
Yeah.
So we started to reach out to these brands.
Wait, I need to ask you.
Yeah.
Why did you not want to import from China?
So because everybody else is doing it.
Okay.
And I wanted to promote Pakistani manufactured brands.
Yeah.
I want people to know what we are doing here.
Yeah, and when you stop importing and you create your own, you help your own economy.
Exactly. And then, यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छी quality बनती है जो export quality यहाँ पे बनती है.
So why not give it to your own people?
Yeah. And, वो क्यों नहीं है accessible? पाकिस्तानी लोगों को क्यों नहीं है accessible? And then जो बना रहा है उसको वो market क्यों नहीं है accessible? Why? तो I think वो जो प्राइस में आप compete करते हैं, let's compete on quality then. So एक तो ये चीज़ I discovered later on for Nani.pk. और then it's only, you pivot a lot as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So it's like when you jump into it, you keep on pivoting and pivoting till you find your perfect market fit.
Yeah, you have to you have to spend that time in exploration and evolution.
Yeah.
Because जब तक आप वो नहीं करोगे, you don't.
Yeah.
वो एक journey and you sort of have to go through it.
You have to
finally hit this spot.
After failures, you come to success.
Yeah.
It's only that you realize this. And I've always been a stubborn person, so I don't give up. So I live by this, that, universe falls in love with a stubborn heart. So, okay, where was I? Yes.
You were saying that then you started to reach out to these
Yes,
brands.
we reached out to these brands. And then, I realized there was no direct competitor. Like Nani does. So there was no player in the market as well. There were international players like First Cries there. We have a slightly different business model than them.
Okay.
And then there's Mom's Word UAE mein, they're working. But Pakistan there was no player as such. Matlab, not a direct competitor.
Competitor in what sense? कि आपके ज़हन में like in terms of the product, in terms of the vision of the brand. So
in terms of vision of the brand, because the vision is very holistic.
हाँ, so ये vision उस वक्त था?
नहीं था market में.
नहीं आपका vision था.
जी.
So you realize कि जो मेरा vision है उसमें कोई competitor नहीं है in the market. ठीक है. सही.
And then, as time passed on, we realized कि okay, अभी इस stage में parents कौन है? Millennials. So you gotta if I become a mother, I'm obviously, that's how millennial mindset works. They're obviously going to study about parenting, right?
Yeah. They're going to Google everything. They're going to try to get answers to everything. Yeah.
And then, it's like, because this is how we live. And then, I realized that हमारे parents में और हमारे में बहुत ज़्यादा generation gap इसलिए आ गया था because we went through the transitional phase of internet.
Yes.
Everything happening.
Yeah.
So we are very different from our parents.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they won't be much different from their parents, but हमें वो एक transitional.
Again, हमारी जो transition थी वो accelerated थी because of the birth of the internet and the access to knowledge and the दिमाग इस crazy level पे खुला है कि जहाँ हमारी transition आई है from the वो वाले phones to the
so I think
internet.
We are the best people who have seen it all.
Yes, we've seen it all. Yes.
We have seen it all.
Yeah.
और अब जो Gen Zs हैं, I think उनका तो वो metaverse वाला, but we are still connected. So it's like there's not a lot of difference. तो I just realized कि ये mindset होएगा for जो अभी parents हैं उनका.
You really identified, for any business, one of the most essential things they need to do is identify their target audience and understand their psychology.
Exactly.
I think अगर मैं किसी भी because you brought this up, अगर मैं किसी भी entrepreneur को बोलूँ कि what is it that you're trying to create, it's so important to understand कि आपकी audience जिसको आप target कर रहे हो उनकी psychology क्या है, like where are they at, what do they want, because if you are going to keep giving them something they don't really want, you're just hitting your head on a wall.
Yeah, exactly my
right
point.
And you're just like, oh my god, I'm doing everything right, but
why isn't it happening?
Why isn't it happening? Because everything that you build, your entire brand identity, the way that you present your product, what you give, even the product itself, it's based on the psychology of the needs and wants of your
exactly
audience.
And then it was something very close to my heart, because I could never relate to my mother. So I always wanted parents to kind of like understand their children in that sense. And, I come across a lot of stories where, kids face a lot, in hands of their parents, because obviously because we are built for a different world, for different times. That's what Hazrat Ali also says, right?
Yeah.
But it's like not a lot of people realize that. So even that was very close to my heart. So that's why we launched these parenting courses, considering the millennials
and
mindset.
This was after launching your product site?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was after launching our e-commerce site. Yes.
Take the e-commerce site.
Yeah. So when it was only e-commerce, we were trying to eradicate the, the time, the anxiety of the mother, kind of save her the time and, save her the anxiety that she goes through कि वो इतनी surfing करके और वो चीज़ उनको नहीं मिल रही होती है. Because, in like today's time, it's like information is scattered. We have to extract knowledge from it. तो वो एक जगह जब उनको सारा कुछ मिल जाता है, it gets easier for them, saves them the time, right? So it was that. But when we we started working on these parenting courses and a mother's community chat booth where, mothers can interact and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a SaaS model. It's obviously going to be free abhi ke liye. But it's like only later on that we are, going to build up the content.
Usko monetize karenge.
Yeah.
So abhi it's like, it's a free community.
Yeah. So it's like we nurture the parents by providing them guidance on parenting, by making it easier for mothers to kind of relate to each other and have their pair talking, and then we facilitate them through e-commerce. So it's like we kind of complete the triangle for the newbie parents. So that's what Nani is about. Yeah.
Okay. So basically you're saying that you have an e-commerce site जहाँ पे आप parenting and baby related products sell करते हैं, and then you have workshops and courses for parents and kind of like a community as well, where they can talk to each other. So and you were saying कि अभी तक आपकी जो workshop courses वाली जो चीज़ है, is it monetizable for you?
So there are two things. One is the parenting courses that are to be launched in January, this January.
Okay.
Yes. And workshops, they are different. They are for kids.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have several brands of workshop. They're for kids. Yes.
अच्छा. और जो आपकी parenting courses है, so you've gotten different people onboarded to give these courses? Yeah, how is that?
No, so it's like we have psychologists, like right people for those courses. So they are going to be animated courses.
Okay.
Yeah, on different topics. So starting from, becoming a father or becoming a mother or thinking about, pregnancy, starting from there, and it will go on.
Okay. So it's a very sort of like
how you prepare yourself to be a parent.
To be a parent. Very interesting. So this is something जो आपने अभी start करना है.
We are already working on it. We are like almost there.
Almost there.
So we just have to launch it in January.
Okay. And this is all on a website, or is it an app?
No, for now it is on the website. We plan to have an app.
Have an app.
Yeah.
Okay. So far, let's talk a bit about e-commerce. How has your experience been setting up an e-commerce brand in Pakistan?
To be honest, it was difficult at the start because getting the brands on board was the most difficult part. You know, usually they don't take you very seriously. Yeah. But I was able to do the most difficult part at the very beginning, before we actually launched. So we had 30 brands on board already. So we had our soft launch in October.
Acha.
And it hit market really well.
Acha.
So we got a lot of appreciation, got covered by a lot of publications and everything. But obviously, यहाँ पे resources, like resource के लिए बहुत problem होता है. You don't find people very easily. So when I initially started, we were just 2 people. Now we are a team of 10.
Okay, so who was the first person that you hired?
So she was my mother's friend daughter. She was a fresh grad. And that was the time when I was only working, on the branding part and, getting to understand how we are going to build this brand. So it was that time. So
And
it's
now
only,
you have like 10 people.
Yes. So we have like a marketing team and we have operations and we have tech, in-house tech team. Yeah.
So where do you think, so basically as an entrepreneur, like you said, you wanted to go to Ireland and do majors in entrepreneurship as well. So far, have you taken any courses, done any sort of
So it's all self-study?
Yeah, so it's self-study. Yeah, that's what I wanted. It's self-learning and self-study and learning on the go type sort of thing.
It's on ground.
Yeah, on the go.
So, it's...
learning on the job.
Yes.
Yeah, when it happens,
you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way doing it. No book can teach you that.
Yeah.
So when you're in the arena...
Yes.
I think that's where you realize, okay, you know what, this is how it works.
Agreed. So, where did you learn things about e-commerce in the sense that, like, ये तो हमने discuss किया कि you learned on the job and self-learning and everything. But did you, like you said, you spent some time at collabs and stuff. How did you do you think that networking really helps?
It really helped me. So this is how I learned how startup ecosystem in Pakistan works.
Yeah.
And then I, started to read a lot about how startup works. And we are just getting investment ready and we are going to start pitching in a month's time. And, then people, as we got the word out for Nani. So like different organizations, they started contacting me themselves. Okay, because there are very few women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And that too from KPK, nobody's there. So, we have, but still they're very less. Like you can just count them on your fingertips.
Yeah.
So, I think एक तो वो चीज़ पाकिस्तान में increase होनी चाहिए and then KPK से तो कोई नहीं है. It's like very less people from there. Startup ecosystem में. But because it's very posh industry, it's like बहुत वो जो पढ़े लिखे लोगों की जो cream है, they work in the startup ecosystem because अभी तो पाकिस्तान में उस तरह से develop ही नहीं हुआ. Not just this, but the tech part as well. जैसे अब India is like such a big market. Every other person is tech savvy. Pakistan में ये चीज़ नहीं है. तो it's like just अभी boom कर रहा है, like slowly and gradually.
And where are you based out of now? Do you have your own office?
Yes, we have an office. We have a office table in Collabs.
Okay, so you're in Collabs right now.
We are in Collabs.
And I think that helps as well because then you're surrounded by a lot of other entrepreneurs.
All the other tech-enabled startups are there. Yeah. So that really helps. Plus there are a lot of, networking opportunities over there. And yes.
And I think वो अपने events भी host करते हैं और चीज़ें भी करती हैं, तो आपको workshops भी होती हैं, तो आपको opportunity and learning बहुत ज़्यादा.
And I think LinkedIn really helped me as well. Okay. I was not a LinkedIn person, but I'm like a full-on LinkedIn person now. So that also kind of.
Can you tell people listening to this podcast how LinkedIn helped and how it can help? Like, why should people develop, profile there, work on a profile?
Because it's a very professional platform, and आप जिस भी industry में हो, I mean, just connect to people उसी industry में who are far ahead of you. Connect to them, have connections with them through LinkedIn, and they're very responsive. So, people don't reach out because they're like scared, and they think, okay, what if that person doesn't reply? So, it goes like, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no.
Yeah.
So reach out to them. Startup ecosystem में तो people are very helpful. I realized this when जब मैं आई इस चीज़ में कि they are very responsive, they're ready to help you, and as a new learner or a beginner, तो उनके साथ आपका बड़ा एक अच्छा वो हो जाता है. But it's like LinkedIn पे again अपने से आगे जो आपके जो ज़रा आगे आपसे निकल चुके हुए हैं industry leaders को आप follow करें.
Yes, thought leaders, industry leaders, and you can get in touch with them and also put yourself on the map.
Put yourself, or whatever comes to your mind, just start writing it. Start putting yourself out. And it's like then consume their content. That's how you're gonna learn. And LinkedIn gives you a lot of insight into what's happening all around.
Yeah.
So like
especially in your industry.
So like AI, AR, so everything that's going around internationally, nationally, so you get that bird's eye view of it.
So what are your future plans with Nani.pk?
So we have recently launched 3 products. It's Nani ki kahaniyan, the bedtime stories for Nani. Yes. It's like, that's why we are that kind of brand where people can relate to. So they can have a bonding with us in that way. So it's like, one is the Nani ki kahaniyan.
So what is that? Is that
so they are like bedtime stories. We are gonna be collaborating with the writers.
No, wait,
as well.
are they like books? Like books?
No, it's an online, it's a social media thing.
Okay.
Yes. So we are in future we are going to collaborate with Pakistani writers who write for kids. So that's our plan, and we have launched Nani ki kahaniyan. Then we have launched Nani ke Totke recently.
Achha, cute.
Yes, and then we have launched a mother who is called Shagufta. So it's
she's
like
a character.
She's a character, and वो Nani और उसकी conversation है.
Achha.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I'll
excellent.
tell you what Nani's personality is. So it's like the brand personality I'm going to like. So it's like she's a modern Nani. She's well aware, plays bridge, socializes, and she knows what's happening around, and she has that wisdom attached to it as well. So the initial idea of why we changed our brand into Nani was okay, like कुछ टाइम पहले तक अगर आप देखें, people used to live together in joint families. अब थोड़ा सा they had support of the elders in the family when becoming parents. So that really helped because वो wisdom उनको वहाँ से मिल जाता था कि किस तरह बच्चे को क्या करना है and stuff. But like अभी आप देखें, so people move out, couples move out for work, for different things. So वो एक चीज़, वो एक connection में थोड़ा सा gap आ गया है. So we want to cover that gap.
Interesting.
So it's not like the old Nani only with wisdom, but she knows what's happening around. So that's the whole personality of Nani.
Amazing. That sounds amazing. Like I love that thought behind it.
Thank you.
And you are speaking to you and talking to you, you are such a perfect example of an entrepreneur, because a lot of people, they just want to do a startup. Do you get it?
Yes.
And you must have known and come across people like that as well.
Yes.
But it takes so much more than that,
It does take so much more than that. So, it's like when you, you work the other way around, when you want to bring value to the table, when you want to give value to the customer, so it helps you in a business sense as well. Like, जिस तरह से हमने अपने courses launch किए and the mothers community that we are going to form, it's going to bring us traffic, right? And a certain percentage of it is going to convert into our customers.
Yeah, of course.
And then, इस तरह से customers trust your brand more when you're providing an extra value to them.
Because they feel like, oh, this is coming from a very authentic source. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you are not just connecting with them on like, oh, we're a business and you're our customer, but you're connecting with them in the core of the issue, the problem that you're solving. And the sensitive part of becoming a parent and how overwhelming that is.
Yeah.
So you are giving more than, somebody who's just
not
like
just in usual e-commerce platforms.
Yes. So, wow, that is very exciting. बहुत अच्छी, like your story, the way that you have, made this business, matlab, the thought that is put into it, and not just, so I find a lot of people, and I find that gap in a lot of people, ke kuch jo entrepreneurs hain, they know a lot about business models, how to set up a business, they'll say all the right things, so they'll use all the right words, but what they're missing is the passion and the purpose, or the real value, So and if you do all of that, agar aapke product mein real value nahi hai, purpose nahi hai, vision nahi hai, so all of that is it's useless.
So if it's only business, there's no vision attached to it. And there's no, you cannot bond with the customers. So you know how human beings work? They work with storytelling.
Yes.
उनको समझ ही ऐसे आती है when you tell them the story.
And you tell them, I know your story. I hear your story.
Yes.
And I can help you in your story.
Exactly.
So it's like you have to feel like, you can't appear as a tone deaf product. Okay, you're like, okay, these are the products, or this is my product, or this is my service, but I really don't know what your real issues are.
Exactly my point.
And when you have, और वो बहुत आसान होता है in the sense के anybody can, if you have, you have a supply chain and you understand the customer service, you understand operations, you understand marketing, आप उठा के वो चीज़ रख तो सकते हो, but so many people can do that. But what sets you apart? It's your unique identity. It's your unique factor. It's the personal connection with the buyer that gets people to say, okay, if I have, because people, अब access है ना, Google है, access है, बहुत सारी e-commerce brands है. If people have, if there are 10 brands, why would they pick yours? And that is what a great entrepreneur offers, that listen, your USP.
Yes, that's our USP basically.
Yeah. So, wow, great work. Especially,
you.
With your background. Like, you came from a small town, you worked your way up, you've worked to learn. And
I changed a lot as a person. In a year's time, I don't know, maybe I've had a journey of a lifetime. So I don't know, in 1 year, I'm a totally different person. So I've been wearing different hats. Okay, I was very involved with the marketing team, and I was very involved everywhere else. So, but I always had this aesthetic sense in me. Because I was a cook before, I was like a chef before, so I always had a very changing, career line. So it was always, like a.
Okay, when did that happen? ये हमारी story के बीच में this didn't come up. So ये chef वाली चीज़ क्या थी?
So
when did that happen?
I loved my father a lot. I was very attached to him. So because we lived in a small district, and there were not good restaurants over there, and my father was a foodie and he loved steaks and stuff. So I was really young at that time. I loved to cook for him. And he would really appreciate it, even if the things were bad, or, I developed my, liking for cooking from him. So basically I used to cook for him. And then later on I just, वो एक perfection फिर आपके काम में आती जाती है. And there was a time, so like my family always knew I would have a career in a restaurant business. This still tell me. So the other day my brother was saying कि अच्छा तुम अगर 7 बजे free होती हो, let's open up a cafe. Maybe office के बाद मैं क्या, excuse me,
इंसान हूँ मैं भी
इंसान हूँ, I have a life. So I used to give courses to people. I love setting up tables. I love doing that art work as well for when it comes to cooking. Setting up the tables and the interiors and
So you have like chef level cooking skills. And I think you mentioned before the podcast that you gave classes as well.
I used to give classes.
Acha, to where?
To like my, to my friend circle mein, people would come up for the classes. My breakfast used to be very famous.
अच्छा.
So जब इतनी अभी तो क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सेस है उस वक्त croissants और वो crepes इनका इतना ज़्यादा हर जगह available नहीं होते थे. So that time I used to
make these things.
Yes, make these things, and I used to kind of cook इस तरह से, and my mamus, all of them, they loved what I cooked. So I was very interested into, so it was like a therapy for me. अभी तो खैर because I'm very very busy, so
तो time नहीं मिलता
साल से तो I think cooking की ही नहीं है.
But wow, maybe one day you can have that as well.
Maybe yes.
Yeah, because entrepreneurs का ये होता है कि they don't just have to have one thing, you can have lots of things.
So yes, I am that person. I want to have it all. Like अभी भी मुझे होता है कि मुझे time क्यों नहीं मिल रहा, because I want to do law. I want to do external system, and I don't know, maybe later in life I want to appear for judiciary. So it's like एक ही चीज, it's like वो मुझे irritate करती है.
Basically दिमाग बहुत चलता है कि ये भी करना है और ये भी करना है और ये भी करना है और ये भी करना है.
So I'm that person who is all over the place.
I get that. Totally get that. I'm that as well. मुझे भी लोग कहते हैं कि अच्छा डेंटिस्ट्री भी की, ये भी किया, वो भी किया, अब ये अच्छा पॉडकास्ट, मैंने बुक भी लिखनी है, मैंने ये भी करना है. So like this,
you are a colorful person and you want to just do it all, and you have one life, man, and then you want कि आप different roles उसमें play करो. So
I have a question. After all this, like you said that your mom, she was like शादी करो. उसका क्या बना? Does your mom?
So I think अल्लाह के plans होते हैं, I guess. और जब आपको कोई चीज़ बहुत ज़्यादा चाहिए होती है, so I think अल्लाह आपको slowly वहाँ ले आता है. So I think me starting this in Pakistan, because I know when I started working, so I was accompanied by my cousin because उसने office environment देखना था कि is it fit for her to kind of like work वहाँ पे. So like अभी तो like they have accepted it ना कि नहीं, अब this is the way of life for her now.
Yeah.
But obviously वो एक you have to do a lot of conditioning. आपको आदत डालनी पड़ती है लोगों को, or you don't have a choice other than that. So it is very difficult because इंसान को चेंज पसंद नहीं होता, एंड वो जिस बिलीफ सिस्टम से आया होता है वो उसी के ऊपर बड़ा like strongly stick around करता है.
Yeah, because it's tried and tested.
It's tried and like even right now my mother is not very happy with what I'm doing. She's like क्यों कर रही है काम?
Because she can't understand it because she's grown up with the particular belief system and everything. Yeah.
But then my brother was really really supportive like throughout. He was like, "Nahi, she's doing great," and like recently we were published, and he was like, "I'm so proud of you, man. You know." So yes, my paternal side of family, like they're like quite okay with it, but yes,
maternal ko bhi issues hain. But good luck with everything. Is there anything else that you want to say or share?
I would say, don't stop yourself, क्योंकि आपको जब भी लग रहा होता है ना कि this is something I cannot do, there's no impossible in the world. So आपके it's all in your head. आपकी जितनी भी लिमिटेशंस है ना वो सारी आपके बस दिमाग में है. Actual world में there are no limitations, and you know when your thinking becomes limitless, your life becomes limitless. अगर आप एक दो steps इस तरह से लेते हो, you become like, मैं इमरान खान की पढ़ रही थी बायोग्राफी. So there was this शेर इकबाल का, which was like which said the punishment of cowardice is death. So जब आप किसी चीज़ से डर जाते हो और अपने आप को stop कर लेते हो, so that is death for you. So this is what I live by. You have to be courageous. You have to kind of आदत डालें लोगों को, अपने आप को accept करें और पहले खुद को accept करें. Don't fit in. उससे कोई फ़ायदा नहीं होता. That's what I realized from my life. कि कोई फ़ायदा नहीं होता. ना आप वहाँ के रहते हो, ना आप वहाँ के रहते हो.
और खुश भी नहीं रहते.
और आप उस चीज़ में भी अच्छे नहीं होते. और the role that you're playing and the world wants you to play, जब तक आप just accept. अगर आप different हो, just accept yourself. Okay, I am this. I'm gonna live like this. I think that's when you make the most out of your life.
Yeah, basically you can't achieve your highest potential if you're going to be utilizing
living
yourself
somebody else's life.
Yeah.
So like don't fit in, guys. और वो I think, लेकिन ये realization I think अल्लाह की तरफ से ही आती है, और I don't know मुझे कब आई, but I just wish के there are more girls who are like courageous and they want to go out and do something with their lives.
It's like don't see yourself as an ये उस दिन मैंने एक word use किया, outcast. See yourself as an outlier.
Yeah.
I love मैंने that. बोला तो वो मेरी podcast में कहती, she said, but outlier भी तो हो सकता है. I was like, yeah, you're actually, when you start thinking that you're different, or your dreams are too big or too much for people.
Yeah.
So what generally happens is that when you dream too big, or what you want to do with your life is too much for people, a lot of people in that process, they dim their light for others.
They dim their light. I have always dimmed my light because of the environment I was in.
As well. Yeah.
So it's like it's always expected of you to like don't shine so bright.
Yes, like fit in, like gel in, like you don't have to be.
आँखों में ना चुभो. Don't shine so bright. Don't go out of your way. Why are you doing this?
So why can't you follow the average?
Why can't? And it's like आप जो कुछ achieve कर लो, at the end of the day लोगों ने खुश नहीं होना. So just do it for yourself, man.
Yeah, and I think just particularly हमारी लोगों का बहुत ज़्यादा problem है that is, as soon as you shine more, people just start reminding you that something
you were not this person.
Yeah.
You never belonged here.
Yeah, something is wrong with you. Like, come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they will do whatever to pull your strings down.
Pull you
back.
Because कुछ साल पहले I just wrote this article of why women are why are you so hard on your own clan? So why is it always a woman,
Oh, yeah.
So that's because when you don't have the courage, when you cannot shine the way she's shining, you
want
don't
her to
understand
stop shining
कि क्यों इस तरह है. Where is the strength coming in her?
Yeah.
तो I think तो मैंने वहाँ पे एक लाइन लिखी थी ये वाली कि because you don't understand कि उसे strength कहाँ से मिल रही है.
Yeah, you can't. And also a lot of the times when you see someone happy or successful, or you in your head, because it sort of reminds you of why you couldn't, or what your failures are, or why you are not this person.
Yeah.
You make up all sorts of negative excuses and reasons in your head for why what they're doing is not actually nice.
It's not actually nice.
It's bad.
And maybe
it's wrong.
Just out of luck, or maybe it's you know.
That as well कि luck, privilege ये वाली चीजें भी है, but also कि ये गलत है, ये तो बुरा है, शुक्र है हम ये नहीं करते. Do you get it? Just to make yourself feel better. And in that process, a lot of people, when they hear these things, they get affected by, they dim their light. Yeah, and they're just like, okay, I think it's better to just be average, to blend in.
Exactly, and they don't realize कि टाइम से ज़्यादा कीमती कुछ नहीं है. सो वो जो टाइम आपका वेस्ट हो रहा होता है कि आप जब उसमें अपने आप को डिम करके वो गुजार रहे होते हो, once that time is gone, it's not gonna come back. Everything's gonna come back. The time is never gonna come back. So people don't realize that as well.
और वही बात है कि a lot of the times you like आपकी फैमिली होती है, वो होता है, वो अपने they are unable to see your light. वो out of their protective lens and caring for you lens में they're
वो
actually
हर किसी को एक ही लेंस में. सो ये भी एक चीज़ है that we will introduce into parenting courses कि सब बच्चों को एक जैसा ना लें. Every child is different. They are made different.
And let them be that.
Yeah, let them be that. Because ऐसे आप अपने बच्चे को शायद एक कूजे में पैक करके I don't know वो कुछ नहीं, he is not gonna grow. Yeah.
I think वही बात है कि when somebody shines or they're different, it makes people uncomfortable. So to make themselves feel comfortable, they tell others to be average because I don't feel comfortable because of your shine.
I was average, you gotta be average as well.
Because your outstandingness makes me very uncomfortable.
It does.
Yeah. So that's
you know, all that criticism is always coming from somebody who is way behind in life than you are.
Yeah.
So the criticism is always gonna come from there. It's never going to be coming from the person who is far above, who's far
because
above
people
than
who've
you.
built and done something, they know this.
They've already an open mind.
They've already done this and they've also had the same experiences and they know, okay, bhai, nahi, like. And also one more thing, I think it also comes a lot from people who were with you at some point. So what happens is because it's a bigger जो आपके साथ वाले होते हैं जो बिल्कुल आपकी तरह थे और फिर आप चेंज हो जाते हो, सो फॉर देम इट्स लाइक ओके
ये क्या हो गया है, दे आर लाइक why is she a different person now?
Why is she a different person now? Why has she grown? Why has she become so successful? Why has she gotten here and I haven't? Because a direct comparison hota na, because once upon a time you were the same.
We were the same. Exactly my point. So and there was something else that I realized. So कोई भी आपके ऊपर कुछ भी बुरा टाइम आता है, so ये तो इस्लाम में भी है ना, वो जब आप पास करते हो ना, सो इट्स ऑलवेज अ लॉट ऑफ ग्रोथ. इट चेंजेस यू फॉर फॉर द बेस्ट. सो उस टाइम में जो आपको जो रियलाइजेशंस आती हैं, जो आपकी ग्रोथ होती है, वो कभी भी उस कंफर्टेबल एनवायरनमेंट में नहीं हो सकती. सो व्हेन दैट टाइम हिट्स यू, आई थिंक यू शुड बी हैप्पी दैट इट हिट यू.
Yeah, because when you come out of this, you will be like
you are a totally different person, man.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And you उसी से आपको अपनी वो होता है ना कि आपने resilient होना है कि वक्त आएगा लेकिन मैंने उससे bounce back करना है और बेहतर bounce back करना है. Come back stronger, come back better.
Stronger. So like ऐसा हर किसी के साथ भी नहीं होता. Not everybody is like made for this. Not everybody is strong. But I think a lot of people are जो इस चीज़ से निकल आते हैं, जो लेकिन ये again realizations की बात है.
वही मैं कहने लगी थी कि इट्स अबाउट हाउ यू रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन इट.
कि
अगर आपके साथ कोई चीज़ हुई है तो हाउ डू यू देन चूज टू सी इट, हाउ डू यू रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन इट एंड व्हाट डू यू वांट टू लर्न फ्रॉम इट. यू कैन ऑलवेज you can always look at things that happen to you as they happened to me, कि मेरे साथ हुआ, ज़्यादती हुई, बुरा हुआ.
Very interesting that I want to mention. So there was a time when I was really down. I did this course. It was a course on happiness from Yale University. It was so interesting, man, and it was all data based. So उस पे यही था कि it's like 97% तो वो होता है कि आपको कुछ भी हिट करता है तो आपका जो रिएक्शन होता है या जो आपके दिमाग में होता है, उससे आपकी हैप्पीनेस और अनहैप्पीनेस डिफाइन होती है उस पर्टिकुलर इवेंट की. और वो इट्स ओनली द 3% दैट्स दैट इज द एक्चुअल इवेंट. सो आप जितना बड़ा किसी चीज़ को बनाओ वो उतनी बड़ी बनती है. It's never it never has that space. So it's all in your head.
Like you said.
It's all in your head.
I really believe in mind over matter.
Mind over matter.
जो मर्जी हो रहा है बाहर जो भी है, but if your mind is bigger than that, so then the matter is doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter.
Yes. But, it's like, it's a process, it's a journey. Not everyone goes through it, but some people do go through it and they have those learnings, and some people don't even have to go through it. So
I think in order to go through it as well, you first need to seek. So अगर वो आप में वो चीज़ नहीं होती ना, where you want to seek, so only then Allah helps you, or only then आपको वो he gets you on that path. But अगर आप seek ही नहीं कर रहे हो तो फिर आप कभी नहीं जाओगे उस पे.
हाँ, बिल्कुल, makes a lot of sense. चलें Bushra, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for having such a wonderful, profound and insightful conversation with me.
Likewise, I loved it, and I love your podcast, how you put it in, and it's such a informal kind of a conversation. So I loved being here and
thank you so much.
Talking my heart out.
Thank you for tuning into this episode. Like I said, बहुत profound थी, बहुत insightful थी, बहुत interesting भी थी, and बहुत सारी learning हुई मेरी इसमें. I hope आपकी भी हुई हो, and it can inspire you to also shine if you feel like you are meant to, and don't let anybody else make you feel like you shouldn't. You don't have to be average if you're not, like just to maintain peace, just to maintain calmness, just to have predictability in your life. You don't have to give up your authentic light that is inside of you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave comments on what you think. I'll see you again next time. Allah Hafiz.